Coming up next on the American Sports Show, a recap around the NFL of Week 15, a preview of Week 16, playoff pictures, news and notes, and more from around the NFL. This is the American Sports Show.
This is the American Sports Show. Now, here's your host, Teddy Eddie.
Hello, football fans. Today, this is the American Sports Show. Today, we're taking a look at recap of Week 15 in the NFL, preview of Week 16, and all the news and notes from around the league. Let's start off with some of the results. Last night, a Monday night game, Chicago went to TCF Bank Stadium to take on the Vikings. Brett Favre led the Vikings down early to a 7-0 lead, but after he was knocked out by rookie Corey Wooten, it was a rout by Chicago as they ended up winning. Now, with Chicago winning, let's take a look now at the NFC playoff picture. Right now, Atlanta and Chicago have clinched spots in the playoffs. But Chicago and Philadelphia, both 10-4, Chicago has clinched, Philly has not. That is because of the tightness in the NFC East, and the Giants only trail by one game. Speaking of those same New York Giants, they are 9-5, and they travel to Lambeau Field this Sunday to take on Green Bay. And Green Bay, after losing to New England in Foxborough, are 8-6 and still have a chance at making the playoffs with a wild card. As we take a look, keep going down Philly. After that miraculous comeback, 28 points in 8 minutes against the Giants at the New Meadowlands, they are 10-4 and leading the NFC East. Although it is not clinched because Philly could lose 2 games and the Giants could win 2 games, and then the Giants would be division champs. We'll get to the Giants later on, some news and rumors surrounding the Giants. You take a look, there's the joke of the NFC West, St. Louis right there at 6-8. But they have a key game coming up this weekend. They play home against the 49ers. The 49ers 5-9. The Niners lose this game. They are done in terms of their hopes at making the playoffs. Now, in terms of the NFC West, both the Rams and the Niners, I'd say they're mediocre teams, but get them in a home playoff game, get all the right good circumstances, they could pull that upset. Maybe as likely as UConn winning the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma, but at least the chance is there. If you take a look, keep going down, you got Atlanta at 12-2. They're unstoppable. They are just unstoppable. So good at the Georgia Dome. Matt Ryan is having probably his best year in his very young career and is becoming a fixture at quarterback in this league. Philadelphia, Michael Vick. In my opinion, he is the MVP. Many people will say Tom Brady, but Brady's got 3 of them already, or something like that. He's got MVP trophies lined up already. Michael Vick does not have any, and it's how he's come back. He's definitely, I think, he's probably the NFL comeback player of the year. But I think he really deserves that MVP because he's really taken that Eagle team to a new level. But you can also argue, without Tom Brady, the Patriots wouldn't be in the position that they are in now. So both are variable candidates, but I'm leaning towards Michael Vick at this point. Maybe because he's more of a running quarterback, maybe because I like him better, but I'm going to favor Michael Vick as of right now. As we take a look at the NFC playoff picture, right now you got New Orleans right there at 10-4 as a wild card. I'd say they go to Atlanta this weekend. That's going to be tough for them in the Georgia Dome this weekend. I'm going to think I'll come with predictions in a few days for the week's games, but I'd say Atlanta would win that game. New Orleans would probably drop to 10-5 and might have to fight to get in the playoffs. Teams like New Orleans, the Giants, Green Bay, even Tampa Bay, good teams that could maybe win a playoff game and challenge to go to a championship game in their conference or the Super Bowl, could not be in the playoffs. And that's, many people say the AFC is the dominant conference, but you can see the depth of the NFC all the way going to New Orleans, the Giants, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay. So there's a lot of depth in that NFC. And Green Bay is getting Aaron Rodgers back this week. That could be big for them. Green Bay plays at home against the Giants. This is almost, for both teams, this is a must-win for the Giants and for the Packers. If the Packers lose, they're out. If the Giants lose, they could still be in it, but a lot of things would have to fall their way. But here's the thing. If Green Bay can win at home, I'll probably get that pick later in the week, but if Green Bay can win at home, both teams will be 9-6. And then Green Bay has Chicago at home. Chicago might be resting their starters for that one. So Green Bay, if they can get in the playoffs at 10-6, don't sleep on Green Bay going far. They've had injuries to guys like Ryan Grant, Jermichael Finley, Al Harris was hurt and released. They've had a ton of injuries. Green Bay, probably the most injury-plagued team in the whole NFL, has had a ton of injuries, but yet they're still on the cusp of making the playoffs. That's great. So this weekend, let's take a look at the matchups. Atlanta plays New Orleans. That'll be a huge matchup, one of the biggest in the league. Chicago will take on the New York Jets. We'll talk about the Jets later in our AFC playoff picture. Philadelphia is at home on Sunday night against the Vikings. St. Louis is at home against San Francisco, in which could go a long way to determining who's going to get that NFC West championship and playoff bid. New Orleans at Atlanta. The Giants and the Packers at Lambeau Field. Tampa Bay is at home against Seattle. If Seattle loses this ball game, they are probably out of the playoffs. Pete Carroll's first year has gone so-so for the Seahawks, but they'd love to have a division title. Matt Hasselbeck also will be playing and starting for them this weekend. Injuries have been a cause of concern in Seattle for him. So that's the look at the NFC playoff picture as of right now. Let's move on to the AFC playoff picture. New England and Pittsburgh have clinched playoff spots. Even though Pittsburgh lost to the Jets, they still clinched a playoff spot via tiebreakers. So New England at 12-2, Pittsburgh at 10-4. Baltimore could win that AFC North division. You've got Indianapolis with a win over Jacksonville this weekend. Jacksonville had their chances in that one. They just couldn't take advantage of it. David Garrard threw interceptions. And it'd be a good team. You can't make those kind of mistakes when you got a chance to take home the division championship. And Jacksonville just couldn't take advantage of opportunities. Jacksonville is home against the Redskins. They should win that game. Indianapolis is at Oakland. Oakland has shown that they can beat some of the elite teams. They beat San Diego a couple of weeks ago in San Diego, California. So watch out for that one. This could be a weekend where Jacksonville could take the division lead back. Kansas City, that number 3 seed, 9-5 is the record. They're home against Tennessee this weekend. But look out. You take a look at the teams in the wild card. Baltimore, 10-4. They'll travel to Cleveland, a likely win, but watch out for the Browns. They've been pretty good this year. I think they're on their way up. Colt McCoy has done, in my opinion, better than expected at quarterback for that team. The Jets travel to Chicago in one of the big games of the weekend. The two big games of the weekend, Jets traveling to Chicago and Atlanta at home against the Saints. San Diego is going to Cincinnati, a likely win for the Chargers. Terrell Owens out for the season. He's done with an ankle. And Jacksonville, as I said before, is home against Washington. So those two teams, San Diego and Jacksonville, should win to go to 9-6. That will put pressure on Kansas City in terms if San Diego wins, and Jacksonville will pressure on Indianapolis. Tennessee's been an up-and-down team all season. Kerry Collins and Chris Johnson for Tennessee, but I just think with Matt Castle back in that lineup, Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium, that hostile environment, I think the Chiefs are going to win. And look out for the Chiefs. Matt Castle, Dwayne Bowe, all those guys for the Chiefs. Watch out for them. Watch out. Todd Haley has done a tremendous job with this Kansas City team. So there you see the AFC playoff picture. It's a little bit tighter than the NFC right now. And right now you got Baltimore and the Jets, two very good wild card teams. You got San Diego and Jacksonville. San Diego's been hot lately with Phillip Rivers, especially getting to Vincent Jackson. He's been spreading the field, knifing through defenses against the Chargers. And Jacksonville, a team that can run the ball with Maurice Jones-Drew and David Garrard. If he could be more consistent and better throwing the football, that could be a team, especially with that defense led by Kirk Morrison in the middle at linebacker. So in this one, New England travels to Buffalo. Pittsburgh travels to Carolina, and two easy wins for those two top teams. Should be. Kansas City is at home against Tennessee. Indianapolis is at Oakland. Baltimore is at Cleveland. The Jets travel to Chicago. The Chargers travel to Cincinnati. And Jacksonville is home against Washington. That is your AFC playoff picture, what it's looking right now. Now let's get to some news and notes right now. It came out this week leaked from a source that Bill Cowher could be looking to get back into the NFL coaching business, and he's listed 3 teams in which he would be interested in getting back into. You rank these in orders: the Giants, the Dolphins, and then the Texans. I don't think that I think the Giants are going to get their act back together. Eli Manning called a team meeting for the first time in his career in New York, so I think they're going to get back on track. Whether they're going to beat Green Bay, that'll be a tough game, especially with Rodgers coming back at Lambeau. That's in the cold. That's going to be a tough game. The Dolphins, 7-7. Sperano, he's done okay, but they have been horrible at Sun Life Stadium at home in Miami. They could go either way. Bill Parcells is not there anymore, so maybe more leniency in terms of the decision-making. Or they want to start over. But third, I think the most likely is the Texans. The Texans were a hot, sexy pick to get to the playoffs and make some noise this year. Gary Kubiak has not done much with that team as of late. They started out pretty good, but that could be an opportunity. One, they're loaded. Matt Schaub, Arian Foster, Andre Johnson. They got talent around them, and I think that could be a good state. Texas, playing in Texas, good fan base. That could be a place that Bill Cowher could be going. Watch out. Bill Cowher, I have a feeling, will stay in the news. He wants to get back into coaching, reportedly, and it should be interesting if he does. As I said before, Aaron Rodgers likely will return this weekend in their game against the New York Giants. That'll be a big boost. Although, watch out maybe for some other teams looking at Matt Flynn to be quarterback for next season. He could be a hot quarterback on the market after his great performance in Foxborough, and Brett Favre likely done after a concussion. It really looked like he landed on that shoulder again, but Brett Favre is likely done. We've likely seen the last of Brett Favre in an NFL uniform. This has been the American Sports Show. Stay tuned to the channel, and thanks for watching the American Sports Show with Teddy.